In this video, we're going to be showing you how to add iPilot Bluetooth to an old Minn Kota Terrova. So I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you already know what iPilot is. But to sum it up, it'll give you a wireless remote control and GPS features for your motor. Now for this video, we have an old Minn Kota Terrova legacy model. And these legacy models were manufactured between 2007 and 2016. And with the help of one of our conversion kits, you can still add on the newer GPS technology and features that the Bluetooth models will have. This conversion kit will change out the old control board with the new style board, along with replacing the old control housing cover and bottom base to accommodate the new iPilot Bluetooth controller. It will also come with the new iPilot Bluetooth remote and heading sensor, along with all of the necessary installation hardware. Now, if you already have a Terrova Bluetooth model that's 2017 and newer, your job will be a lot easier. All you'll have to do is install the iPilot controller, pair your remote, and you're good to go. So with that said, let's get started installing this kit on this Terrova. Now, if you need to pick one of these up, we'll have links down in the description below where you can purchase your kit. You're going to start by cutting off power to the motor. Next, you're going to put the motor in the deployed position, getting the shaft out of the way and giving you access to the control housing. Next, you can remove the side plates with a number 3 Phillips. Once those are out of the way, we can remove the control housing cover, giving us access to the control board. Next, you can disconnect all of your wires. And remove the strain relief to free up the battery lead wire and foot pedal plug. Next, you can remove the 2 control board mounting screws on the side of the extrusion with a number 2 Phillips. And remove the control board. Next, you can remove the steering motor wires from the control housing cover. You'll have to squeeze the tabs on the strain relief with a pair of pliers and slide it out of the hole. You'll only have to do this part if you are replacing the board on a legacy model like we're doing here. If you already have a Bluetooth model, this step isn't required. Now that the old control board is out of the way, if you have some dirt or debris, go ahead and clean that up before installing the new board. This is the new Terrova Bluetooth control board. It'll mount the same way as the legacy board did. Once it's lined up, we can put our 2 mounting screws back in. And start reconnecting our wires. First, we're going to hook up our 4 power wires, slide heat shrink on them, and then plug them in. Here's our motor negative and motor positive. And battery negative. And battery positive. If you're replacing an old legacy board, we can go ahead and put the steering motor wire through the hole on the new control housing cover and clip the strain relief in. Now we can slide heat shrink on the steering motor wires and plug them in. Next, we can slide heat shrink on the red battery meter wire and plug it in. Next, we can hook up the black battery meter wire to the black wire on the board with the blade connector. If you have a brown internal bonding wire on your coil cord, this will be a three-way connection. If your old control board had this connector on it, you can reuse it. If you need to purchase one from our site, the part number for it is 2320710. Start with sliding the heat shrink on and then plug everything in. Now we can connect our GPS accessory wire and shrink the heat shrink with a heat gun. Next, I'm going to put the new decal on the new control housing cover. Again, this is only if you're replacing a legacy board. Next, we can slide our power switch and battery meter into place on the control housing cover, making sure our buttons and LEDs line up with the holes. And position the locking tab so it covers both the power switch and battery meter. Then screw it down with a number 1 Phillips driver. Now that all of our wires are hooked up, we can put our strain relief back on. The large slot is for the battery power lead wire, and the slot next to it is for the foot pedal plug. And once it's on, we can slide our control housing cover back into place. Make sure there's no wires that are being pinched or pulled on, and that the tabs lock in. And once that's in, we can put our side plates back on. Now we can move on to installing the iPilot controller. For this step on 2016 and older motors, you'll be installing both the bottom base and the controller. For 2017 and newer motors, you'll be able to install the controller on your existing base. Start by removing the 4 top cover screws. And pull the cover off. Now, depending on your model, It may look a little different than this one here. This specific motor is a legacy model with autopilot on it. So this control board will be removed along with the bottom base. Now we can disconnect the wires. And remove the insert plug. Most of the older motors will have 3 prongs holding them in. Once that's removed, we can slide our coil cord out of the base. And remove the bolt holding the bottom base on with a number 2 Phillips. Now we can slide our new bottom base on the shaft and line up the hole. Careful not to damage the wires when reinstalling the mounting bolt. Next, we can reinstall our coil cord and hook up our iPilot controller. The controller will just have one wire to plug in, and it'll plug into the matching black and yellow wire on the coil cord. If your motor has built-in sonar, this wire will also run down through the hole. Next, we can install our new insert plug that came with the kit. Instead of clipping into the base, the new one will come with 2 mounting screws. Feed your wire or wires into the slot, slide it into place, and screw it down. Next, we can reconnect our power wires and slide the wire insulators over the connectors. Now we can slide heat shrink onto our brown wire and reconnect it. And shrink the heat shrink. Once everything is connected, we can put the iPilot controller on and reinstall the screws. And once that is done, we can reconnect our motor to power to pair our remote. To pair your iPilot Bluetooth remote to your motor, you're going to start by powering the motor and remote on. Once the remote is powered up, you can scroll down and select System. Next, you can scroll down to Pair and hit the check mark. Once you do this, the remote should say Scanning for Motor. While the remote is scanning, you're going to push and hold down the pair button on the controller. You should hear a steady tone coming from the controller. If the pairing is successful, you'll hear a series of beeps. And once you do this, your remote is paired. So that covers it for the kit installation. If you need to pick one of these up, go to trollingmotorparts.com. I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, keep keep trolling.